The NFL has seen rookies get endorsement deals before. It's practically part of the modern game. Shoe companies, sports drinks, apparel brands, all lining up for the next big name. But what just happened with Sheduer Sanders and Nike? This isn't your standard, welcome to the league deal. This is something else entirely. Nike didn't wait for a Pro Bowl. They didn't wait for MVP chatter. They didn't even wait for the guy to take his first regular season snap. They moved early, preseason early, doubling down on a player whose name is already making waves far outside the hash marks. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. And in doing so, they might have just changed the blueprint for how sports marketing works in the NFL. Here's the wild part. Nike has been in the Sheduer Sanders business for a while. Long before his preseason debut, before he stepped into an NFL locker room, Nike made him their first ever nil football athlete during his college days at Colorado. They saw something then, an energy, a style, a confidence that wasn't just about throwing touchdowns. And now, after seeing his preseason performance, they've locked him in for an extension that has the league talking. Because Sheduer's debut wasn't just football, it was theater. Every throw was sharp. Every decision looked polished. But it was a wrist flex celebration, smooth, deliberate, dripping with confidence, that turned a good performance into a cultural moment. Instantly, it was a meme. Fans were recreating it. Clips were going viral. It was the kind of moment that says, this isn't just a player, this is a brand. And Nike, to their credit, didn't hesitate. While NFL front offices are still analyzing depth charts, Nike's marketing department has already printed the playbook. They understood that this was more than a strong preseason outing. It was a narrative goldmine, a rookie quarterback, son of an NFL legend, stepping into the spotlight with both skill and swagger, backed by a cultural movement that extends beyond football fans. Think about how rare this is. Most rookies get one of two treatments. Either they're an athletic prodigy who gets hyped after measurable success, or they're a cult favorite who builds a brand slowly. Sheduer bypassed both timelines. He's not waiting for his breakout year. He's already a household name before the season even starts. That's the difference with this Nike extension. It's not reactionary. It's not a PR stunt after a big playoff run. It's a calculated investment. Months of prep. Custom gear ready before the cameras even turn on. Campaign ideas sitting in drafts waiting for the moment he'd trend. And here's the thing. This isn't just about selling cleats. Nike isn't betting on stats. They're betting on influence. Sheduer's appeal isn't limited to game day highlights. He's a walking cultural crossover. Part quarterback, part style icon, part viral personality. His confidence resonates with a generation of fans who follow the sport as much for the personalities as for the scores. In many ways, Sheduer's deal feels like the natural evolution of where sports marketing is headed. The old formula was simple: dominate your sport, and endorsements will follow. The new formula? Dominate the conversation, and the endorsements will come first. That's what Nike just did. They're essentially saying, we don't need you to be a 10-year veteran with a trophy case to justify our investment. We just need you to own the moment. And in his debut, Sheduer did exactly that. This move also signals a quiet challenge to NFL scouting norms. Teams traditionally evaluate rookies based on game tape, combined numbers, and on-field production. But Nike's move says, we see value in personality, presence, and cultural relevance. And honestly, in the modern sport economy, that's just as bankable as a perfect passer rating. The cultural side of Sheduer's rise can't be overstated. That wrist flex wasn't just a celebration. It was a signal. It told fans, I'm here, I know I'm here, and you're going to remember this. It's the kind of signature moment athletes spend entire careers trying to create, and Sheduer did it in his first big appearance. Nike's timing was flawless. They didn't wait for someone else to recognize the value. They moved when the hype was still building, securing a relationship with an athlete who's not just relevant, but controlling the conversation. And it's not like Sheduer doesn't have the football side to back it up. His debut was a fluke performance carried by a defense or a lucky break. He displayed legitimate quarterback traits: reading defenses, adjusting protections, making smart throws under pressure. This wasn't just rookie energy. It was polished execution. That combination, skill plus style, is exactly what Nike has built its empire on. From Jordan's iconic Jumpman silhouette to LeBron's blend of dominance and brand presence, Nike's most successful partnerships have always been with athletes who own the narrative. And in Sheduer, they see someone who can do that for the next generation of football fans. The irony here is that some NFL teams might still be sleeping on him. Some scouts might still see rookie and think needs time to prove himself. Nike's move flips that thinking on its head. They're not waiting to see if Sheduer becomes the face of a franchise. They're betting that he already is. For Sheduer, this deal is more than a payday. It's validation. It's proof that the way he's approached his career, balancing discipline with personality, football with lifestyle, is working. It's also a massive platform boost. With Nike's machine behind him, every game, every highlight, every sideline shot has the potential to become part of a larger cultural moment. This could also set a precedent for other young athletes. If Sheduer's deal pays off for Nike, if his influence drives merchandise, social engagement, and cultural presence, brands may start moving earlier on other rookies. That means we could see a shift where marketing deals happen before a player ever proves themselves statistically, based purely on their ability to connect with audiences. And honestly, that's a win for athletes who understand the modern game. In today's market, your jersey number matters, but your Instagram following and your ability to create a viral moment might matter just as much. Sheduer's story is the perfect storm for this shift. He's got the family legacy, the on-field skill, the off-field charisma, and now the corporate backing to amplify it all. Nike isn't just betting on a player. They're betting on a movement. From a business perspective, the extension makes perfect sense. Nike has essentially locked in a brand ambassador who appeals to multiple audiences: traditional football fans, younger lifestyle consumers, and even casual sports watchers who just like the energy he brings. That's rare. That's why they move now. And for the NFL, this is a wake-up call. The game isn't just played on the field anymore. It's played in the cultural space around it. Sheduer is winning there, too. And if the league is paying attention, they'll realize that what happened with Nike might just be the first ripple of a much bigger wave. Because when a rookie can walk into his preseason debut, play with poise, set social media on fire, and walk out with an extended Nike deal, you're not just watching a player's career start. You're watching the game itself change. Sheduer Sanders isn't just part of the NFL's future. If Nike's gamble pays off, he might help define it. Here's the part that's making executives, agents, and players sit up straighter. This wasn't Nike throwing money at hype for hype's sake. It was chess, not checkers. They'd been building toward this moment with Sheduer for years. When they signed him to that nil deal at Colorado, it wasn't just because his last name was Sanders. They'd seen the signs, his calm under pressure, the precision in his play, the way his personality translated effortlessly into viral moments. They knew if they nurtured that brand early, when he made the leap to the NFL, they'd already have a polished, ready-made star. And that's exactly what happened. When Sheduer stepped on the field for his preseason debut, Nike wasn't scrambling to design cleats or sketch out a campaign. They already had the blueprint. They'd studied his style, understood his tone, and tailored the marketing machine to fit him, not just some generic rookie narrative. That's the difference between catching lightning in a bottle and knowing where to stand when the storm hits. You could see the alignment immediately. Sheduer flexes his wrist after a big play. It's not just a celebration. It's a visual Nike can plaster across billboards, social clips, and apparel. The moment wasn't manufactured for the cameras, but it was perfect for them. And in marketing, authenticity is the holy grail. You can fake swagger, but you can't fake presence. Nike's extension with Sheduer also quietly speaks to a shift in how brands see value. 10 years ago, a preseason debut would move the needle for a rookie endorsement. The thinking was, prove yourself over a season or two, rack up accolades, then we'll talk. Now, the metrics have changed. If you can dominate the cultural conversation early, before you've even built your stat sheet, you're already worth the investment. It's not hard to see why. Social media compresses time. A single viral clip can do more for brand visibility in 24 hours than a year of consistent box scores. And Sheduer isn't just participating in those moments. He's generating them. Think about what that means for the next wave of athletes. The old guard will tell you to keep your head down, focus on the game, and let the marketing follow. But Sheduer's path shows a different model. Keep your head and your brand sharp from day one. It's not distraction, it's strategy. From a football perspective, Nike's timing looks even smarter. Because Sheduer didn't just put on a show, he showed substance. The throws were clean. The reads were quick. The pocket presence was beyond what you expect from a rookie in his first NFL action. This wasn't a highlight reel masking shaky fundamentals. It was the kind of performance that makes you believe it can be repeated. And when you combine that with the Sanders legacy, you've got a story that's bigger than any one game. Sheduer's dad, Deion Primetime Sanders, was one of the most marketable athletes of his era. A man who turned confidence into currency. Now, Nike's essentially betting on the next chapter of that story, not as a carbon copy, but as an evolution. The difference is that Sheduer's confidence manifests in a quieter, more surgical way. Where Primetime danced into the end zone, Sheduer slices you apart with precision and then gives a knowing smile. It's charisma without chaos, and it works in today's climate, where the audience wants both authenticity and results. And Nike isn't just thinking about football fans. Sheduer's appeal extends beyond the sport, into lifestyle culture, fashion, and even music circles. He dresses like a star, talks like a star, and carries himself in a way that's aspirational, without feeling manufactured. That's exactly the kind of crossover energy Nike thrives on. This is why the extension hit the NFL like a shockwave. Not because rookies haven't gotten deals before, they have, but because of the message it sends. Brands aren't waiting for the league to crown its next star. They're making their own calls based on influence, relatability, and the ability to create moments. For players, this flips the power dynamic. Instead of waiting for Pro Bowls or MVP chatter, you can build your case off the field just as much as on it. If you understand your audience, if you can connect beyond the scoreboard, brand will come to you. But here's the flip side. When you get that deal early, the pressure doubles. Every game is now not just about helping your team win, but about protecting the brand value that companies like Nike have invested in. That means staying consistent, staying relevant, and avoiding the kind of off-field drama that can sour public opinion overnight. If Sheduer feels that pressure, he doesn't show it. That's part of what makes him such a good fit for Nike's calculated gamble. Even when the stadium's roaring, even when defenders are closing in, his face reads the same. Calm, locked in, almost unbothered. That steadiness is gold in marketing. It reassures fans, teammates, and sponsors that you can carry the weight. There's also an unspoken ripple effect to this. You can bet other brands are watching closely. If Sheduer's partnership drives serious engagement and sales, it's going to open the floodgates for similar early moves. Suddenly, we could see a wave of preseason rookies getting lifestyle brand deals before they've even played a regular season snap. And that could change the way young players approach their careers entirely. Instead of treating branding as something that happens after you make it, it could become a parallel track from day one. Develop your game and your persona at the same time. For Nike, that's not a risk. It's an opportunity to shape a player's image while it's still fresh. For Sheduer, it's a chance to build equity in his name while his career is still taking off. That's a long-term play that could pay dividends for both sides well beyond his rookie contract. What's wild is how seamlessly the whole thing came together. There was no awkward rollout, no obvious scramble to capitalize on a hot moment. It felt inevitable, like everyone involved knew this was coming and was just waiting for the right spark to light it. That spark was a preseason game, not a Super Bowl, not a record-breaking performance. A preseason game. That's how fast the game is moving off the field. It leaves you wondering, 10 years from now, when people talk about Sheduer Sanders' rise, will they point to that debut as the moment the NFL first took notice, or will they point to the Nike extension as the moment the sports world changed the rules? The truth is, they might be the same moment, because what Nike just did isn't just a business transaction, it's a signal flare. It says that in the modern sports economy, value isn't measured only in yards, touchdowns, and passer ratings. It's measured in how fast you can take over a conversation, how well you can carry a narrative, and how naturally you can make people believe they're watching the start of something bigger. Sheduer Sanders checked all those boxes before his rookie season even began. And now, thanks to Nike, he's got the platform to keep doing on a scale the NFL hasn't really seen before. If their bet pays off, it's not just going to be a win for one player and one brand. It's going to redraw the map for how the next generation of stars gets discovered, developed, and marketed. What's easy to miss in all the noise about Sheduer Sanders' Nike extension is how quietly revolutionary this move really is. On paper, it looks like a brand picking up a talented rookie with some media buzz. But if you pull the lens back, you start to see how much this challenges the old rules that the NFL, advertisers, and even fans have been following for decades. Traditionally, a rookie's first year was about proving they belonged. You'd work your way into a starting spot, get some decent stats, maybe hit a game-winning drive or two. Then, if you were lucky, a big brand would call you in the off-season and talk endorsements. The whole process was cautious. No one wanted to gamble too soon. Nike didn't just break that rule, they shredded it. They're telling the sports world, we're not waiting for you to catch up to us. We're going to set the narrative ourselves. And they picked Sheduer to do it because he's not just a quarterback, he's a story. That story starts with legacy. Being Deion Sanders' son automatically puts you on the radar. But legacy only gets you the introduction. To keep the spotlight, you have to bring something different, something personal. Sheduer's difference is in his delivery. He doesn't try to be a carbon copy of Prime Time. He's not wearing the neon suits or doing the end zone dances. His swagger is in his stillness, his patience, his ability to let the game and the moment come to him. That's what Nike sees, the next evolution of a sports icon. Prime Time was explosive. Sheduer is surgical. Prime Time was a fireworks show. Sheduer is a precision strike. And in a world where every move gets clipped, memed, and posted in seconds, precision might be the more powerful weapon. Now, let's talk about that preseason debut that set this whole thing in motion. The numbers were good, but it wasn't about stats. It was about presence. The way he stood in the pocket under pressure, the way he read defenses like a vet, the way he executed without looking rushed. And of course, the wrist flex celebration that instantly became a cultural stamp. That celebration wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment reaction. It was instinct, the kind of instinct that says, I know people are watching, and I know this is going to stick. Sure enough, within hours it was everywhere. Sports pages, TikTok edits, even non-sport accounts posting it because it just looked cool. Nike had been preparing for that kind of moment. They'd been following Sheduer's moves at Colorado, where he'd already shown a knack for making the game feel like an event. They had gear designs ready, campaign angles prepped, and marketing assets that could be deployed as soon as the cultural wave hit. All they needed was the spark. The spark came, and Nike didn't hesitate. They doubled down. The extension wasn't just a reaction to one game. It was a trigger point for a long-term plan. And here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just about selling jerseys and cleats. Nike is positioning Sheduer as a bridge between two worlds, the traditional sports fan and the modern cultural consumer. That means collaborations outside of football gear, appearances in lifestyle campaigns, maybe even partnerships in music or streetwear. If that sounds ambitious, that's because it is. But Nike thrives on ambition. They've done it before with athletes like LeBron, who went from basketball star to global icon, and Serena Williams, who blurred the lines between athlete and cultural figure. Sheduer is their shot at doing that in the NFL with someone who's still at the very start of his career. The calculated risk here is that the NFL isn't always as forgiving to personality as other sports. Football is team-first, system-driven, and historically wary of players who stand out too much too soon. But Sheduer's style is so grounded in professionalism that it's hard to argue he's putting brand over ball. His leadership, calmness, and respect for the game make the branding feel like an extension of who he is, not a distraction from it. That balance is crucial, because once you sign a deal like this, the target on your back gets bigger. Opponents will want to test you harder. Critics will wait for you to stumble. And fans will expect every game to be another headline. For some players, that pressure cracks them. But Sheduer's already shown he can carry weight without showing strain. From Nike's side, the extension also changes the scouting game. Yes, scouting. Because while teams scout for talent, brands now scout for influence. They're watching how a player trends after a game, how they interact on social media, how they connect with fans in interviews. In that world, a single preseason highlight paired with the right personality can be worth more than an entire rookie stat line. What makes Sheduer's rise feel so timely is that the audience for sports has changed. The younger demographic, Nike's bread and butter, consumes football in clips, memes, and moments. They care about skill, yes, but they also care about energy, about vibe, about someone they can follow beyond the stadium. Sheduer checks all those boxes without forcing it. And when you have that, you can skip steps. You don't need to wait until year 3 to get a signature shoe or be featured in a national campaign. You can make those moves before your first regular season start, and the audience won't blink. They'll expect it. It's not just that Nike saw Sheduer's potential. They saw where the whole sports marketing landscape is headed and decided to plant their flag there early. If this works, and all signs point to it doing exactly that, it's going to set a precedent. You'll see other brands hunting for the next Sheduer Sanders, not based on rookie stats, but on rookie impact. The ripple effects could be massive. College athletes with nil deals will start positioning themselves for pre-NFL branding years before the draft. Marketing teams will be analyzing a player's Instagram engagement alongside their 40-yard dash time. And NFL teams themselves might start factoring marketability into their evaluations more than they admit. And you know what? Sheduer seems ready for all of it. He's been groomed for the spotlight, not in the sense of being media trained into blandness, but in understanding how to navigate attention without letting it own him. That's a rare skill, and it might be just as valuable to his career as his arm strength. Nike's gamble is that he's not just a moment, but a movement, that the wrist flex wasn't a one-off, but the first of many cultural touchpoints that will keep him relevant no matter what happens on the field week to week. For now, all we know is this. A rookie quarterback just signed a major extension with one of the most powerful brands in sports before even playing a meaningful NFL down. That's history. That's a shift. And whether you love it, hate it, or don't quite understand it yet, you're going to remember it. Because in a league that usually moves slow, Sheduer Sanders and Nike just hit the gas, and everyone else is scrambling to keep up.